Hey everybody, welcome to SMG Viewers Comments. Now for all you guys sitting out there wondering, hey man, you said last week was going to be the last episode ever. Yes, I did. And last Thursday also happened to be April Fool's Day. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having an amazing morning dodging work. Better grab that cup of coffee and buckle your seatbelts. This one's gonna be a lot of fun. This is SMG Viewers Comments, my weekly show where I answer your comments and questions to the best of my ability. And as for the weekly nerd report, I just finished up the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing on Disney+. And yeah, what a hell of a ride. What a great series of movies. Really loved Infinity War and Endgame. Just fantastic films, especially Infinity War. It ended on such a down note. It was so great. Anyway, yeah, keep those anime suggestions coming. I love hearing from you guys about that kind of thing. I think it's great that so many of you guys out there are into metal but watch anime too. Definitely makes me feel like I'm not alone in my nerdiness. Personally, I've been a long life anime fan ever since Prince Planet in the early 70s, and then Gatchaman, which was called Battle of the Planets, came to North America. I was about 8 years old when that happened. Yeah, keep them coming. If they're cool, I'll try to watch them. Anyway, let's get to the questions.
Wait, someone seeing a new and different way of doing something that is an anathema of their own beliefs, then accepting evidence that they may have been incorrect and adapting to the new knowledge in an attempt to better themselves? We don't like that copy shit, Glenn! America! So basically what you're saying is that Megadeth made you practice what you preach, but that's testament, and now I'm confused.
Yeah, here's the thing. I get it. Jesus doesn't like it when we change our opinions based on evidence. But for the rest of us out there who don't believe in that superstitious crap, yeah, evidence makes one change their position. I've been against drum samples for as long as I can remember, but turns out a couple of my favorite records, Peace Sells But Who's Buying, Painkiller, Black Album, all had some rudimentary samples to quote unquote enhance the performance. So maybe I was wrong with my initial assumption that drum samples were ruining music. I still maintain that autotune is not helping things and musicians sound the best when you push them to their breaking point. I don't think we're going to get another Bohemian Rhapsody as long as we keep putting autotune on records. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to get that level of epicness anymore. It's all just way too easy. Fix it with a button. And it's the difference between painting a masterpiece and using paint by numbers. There's just no substitute for an artist pushing themselves and doing their absolute best. If someone has a record out there that got autotune on it that is as mind-blowing as Bohemian Rhapsody was, you know, I'm all ears. I'm all down for suggestions, but yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath either. But to circle around on the initial comment, yes, I will be experimenting with some sample augmentation because it turns out I've just been mixing on hard mode for all these years.
Always love your here's how to record shit better tutorials. So much great information that I put into practice from the last couple years. You're the reason I moved from FL Studio to Reaper 2 years ago and never looked back.
You're, of course, referencing how to not completely suck at home recording. Yeah, that was a lot of fun doing that video, especially explaining how I do the whole car thing. And maybe I need to go a little bit more in depth for that. Now, if you guys have suggestions for tutorials, I am always interested in hearing for new ideas. Here's the thing about this show, though. I can only do so many videos where you mic up a Vintage 30 with an SM57. I mean, like, it's kind of been redundant and it's been done. So I'm looking to explore new ways of doing tutorials. And again, I am open to suggestions. I love hearing from you guys. You guys want to learn how to do something, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see.
Glenn, I find it astonishing that your journalism is better than actual news. These allegations are yet to be proven in a court of law are words I do not hear often in the news, possibly because it reduces the audience attention?
I would think so. I think most of the stuff you're getting on the major networks isn't really news. It's just junk infotainment. You know, Fox News, CNN, all the 24-hour quote-unquote news stations, they're just opinion pieces for the most part. There's not a lot of actual news going on. I mean, like, maybe it's because I was raised in Canada and we grew up on the CBC, which, you know, practiced actual fucking journalism, that I kind of understand what's going on. I remember, you know, when we had that guy in Ottawa go into the Parliament building with a gun And, you know, I'm sitting there with my father-in-law. We're watching this go down, and we're watching the CBC, and they're like, well, we think there's one gunman, and he might have been dealt with. And we switch over to the American news. There might be 5 or 6 active shooters. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? Where did they get this bullshit from? So yeah, when I do the frickin' news, obviously it's satire, but I do try and base some things in there. It's like, yes, somebody has been accused of a crime. Doesn't mean they are guilty. That has to be proven. And I think a little bit of responsibility in journalism goes a very long way. Unfortunately, a lot of my American friends just aren't getting that responsible journalism. So if you want some of that, I'd say watch the BBC or watch the CBC, because American news is fucking bullshit. All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by me. You guys have been seeing this in the background over the last month or two. We've been working with beta software. Well, it is finally available. We now have the software cock blocker. That's right. The legendary pedal has returned in software format, so you can use it in your DAW. You can use it with amp sims. You can use it with live amps. Somebody finally designed a software gate for the metal guitar player. This thing is so sensitive, you can just hit your guitar, let the strings ring out. But as long as you keep your strings muted, you can stay quiet. Now, the really awesome thing about this is it will save you time in the mixing process. You don't have to edit all the crap out in your rests anymore. The cock blocker can do it for you. Now, the normal price on this is $50, but we have a special introductory rate for you guys, and it's going to be available this week only for $37. If you're playing metal guitar and you want to clean your sound up, or if you're editing a lot of rhythm guitar tracks and you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours cleaning up all the spots, you just want something to do it for you, grab the cock blocker. It will save you time. Links in the description below. Now back to the show.
Why all the distortion? Can nobody do these tests with purely clean tones? It's like then they put 2 pickups against one another and then shove them through so much distortion that you might as well dip the guitar in olive oil and ram it up your ass.
Well, Carl, let me explain a little fact that might have got past your vast intellect. This is a heavy metal show. We talk about how to produce and create heavy metal recordings. Now, what kind of music do we play on a heavy metal show? That's right, heavy metal. That means distorted guitars. Wow! Will wonders never cease? Good luck with your bass lessons, Carl!
Howdy fucker! Oops, howdy fricker. I was wondering if when you were checking the mixes in your car, whether or not you are zeroing out the EQ on the stereo or leaving it on whatever preset you have for normal listening situations. Thanks for all the awesome videos. Cheers and fuck you, Glenn.
I leave the EQ on because I want a real world test. How does this translate into somebody who's got his bass cranked way too fucking hard on his car stereo? Like about 90% of you guys have. What I do is I set my car stereo up with some of my favorite discs. You know, I'll put on the Black Album, I'll put on Corrosion and Conformity Blind, Caius Blues for the Red Sun, maybe Cathedral, The Ethereal Mirror. You know, records that just have these huge fucking guitar sounds on them. And I'll set my EQ like that, and then I'll bring in my own mix and be like, okay, and then you start comparing and that kind of thing. So that generally gets me to where I want to go. Your mileage may vary. You might want to try flattening your EQ out in your particular situation. I don't know how it's going to work for you. I can only attest to what works for me.
This mix sounds killer, Glenn. The drums are wicked. Could use an ABY box for channel changing on the beta.
Are you referencing my Sun Beta Lead demo? I've still got the amp way up here just on the stack. I've been using that on a couple of things as of late, kind of been blending it in with some other stuff, and I got to do a mix breakdown video on something I did a little while back because I was really happy with the guitar tones I got. I'd never actually heard of an ABY box until that comment, so I do appreciate the suggestion. Again, always be open to learning new things. Thanks, man.
Sounds like shit. Throw it in the garbage.
Of course, you're referencing the Sun Beta Lead demo as well. Can't please them all. Glad you liked it.
Hey Glenn, what is your take on Alesis .7 shielded reference monitors passive? I was recently given a pair of hand-me-downs and wanted your opinion. Thanks and fuck you, Glenn.
Oh, the Alesis .7s. Dude, those were my first monitors ever. I got those in like 1997 when I first started this whole studio thing. And I remember they vibrate a lot and the ports are very noisy on them. The holes there in the front, it's like as soon as you start cranking stuff up, they add a little bit of noise into the sound, so they're not exactly what you'd call the most accurate things ever. As I recall, I didn't hang on to the .7s very long. I wound up getting some NS10s and had some pretty good results with those. So there you go. I wouldn't hang on to the .7s very long. I'd go get some Calais LP6s because those things are fucking amazing and will destroy the Alesis .7s.
Great point, Glenn. Remember, there are a lot of people not on the corporate totem pole who do have pride in their work and want to create the best products. C-suite executives are usually clueless when it comes to products and only care about the bottom line. And it's that way with all your favorite brands when they get big enough. At least Fender knows if they sued everyone who made knockoff Strat, it would take a millennium to finish all those court cases.
Yeah, not to mention the cost would be astronomical. You're referencing, of course, the ongoing Gibson saga. And this is the thing. I mean, like, I worked in manufacturing for 27 years. I get what it's like to be one of the cogs in the great machine. You want to do the absolute best you can and then hope the people at the top don't fuck up your reputation in the process. So for all you guys, working on the line at Gibson, hey, we do appreciate your work. Hopefully, they don't come across as the evil corporate entity for much longer. Hopefully they get their shit together. And I certainly hope they support you guys who come in day to day and try to make the best instruments you possibly can. And here's the thing, if you have quality issues and you're bringing it to your management and they're not dealing with it, you can post anonymously on social media. I mean, there are ways around that kind of shit. Because here's the thing. One thing I've learned anyway is when you start posting negative things on social media that are based in truth, things get changed. Now, I'm not taking personal credit here. It wasn't just me. But Line 6 went from making shitty practice amps to putting out the Pod Go, which is actually a really killer piece of gear. And that was because of a lot of pressure from social media. Don't be afraid to expose the truth if there are quality control issues. Just make sure you don't get caught.
Glenn, props for having the confidence to do all the guitars and bass in this demo. You're absolutely killing it. Keep pushing and FYG. Love it.
Dude, thanks so much. Yeah, I had a blast. I was really happy with the tone on that amp. It's very different from the myriad of awesome tube amps I have. It's just so cool to do something different for a change. I'm going to try and hunt down one of those beta lead pedal simulations. I think that might be really freaking cool, especially if I put it into this guy here. This is designed to be a pedal platform, so I'm really curious how that's all gonna turn out. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notified for when that video comes out. Stoner rockers will rejoice.
Hey Glenn, off topic, but I now have a burning question nobody seems to be able to answer. Can you patch microphones through a Patchbay into your interface and supply your mic's fan and power also through the Patchbay? Half say it's dangerous, but the other half say it's the norm. Help a bro out, thanks!
Long Johnson Shagwell. Amazing screen name. What, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think he's compensating for something? You think he's living in a fantasy world? Survey says yes! Anyway, as per your question, can you run Phantom power over a Patchbay? I got a Patchbay over here. I'm running my MCO12 mic right here for my voiceover. This is a Phantom powered mic, and I used to actually power it through the Patchbay, and now I just plug it right into the front of the Neve 1073 OPX. But yes, you can definitely run Phantom powered mics over your Patchbay. I have never had an issue. And this is the thing, the people who say you can't, I'm wondering if they've ever actually owned a Patchbay in their lives. That's the thing. You always get all kinds of wonderful opinions on forums, but when you ask people to actually back that shit up with, like evidence, you usually get crickets. I work with Patchbays day in, day out. I've got an amazing one from Redco I demoed a couple years ago. It gets so much use. It's one of the best things I ever put into this studio. And if you don't have one and you've got some gear, I would really recommend getting one because it will definitely make your life easy. And yes, it'll make your life easy even running Phantom power. Hell, back at Harmony Studios in Hollywood, I used to run a Phantom powered mic all the time through the Patchbay. No problems whatsoever.
Even if we disagree on every audio thing ever, I'd still feel connected to you for your anti-religion views, especially in America. Even in the hardcore atheist group of many people don't want to publicly say it in fear of having less followers and losing popularity, politicians on top. But not you, Glenn. You say what you think and don't give a shit about what the consequences that might be, and I respect you for that.
Well, I do appreciate that. I mean, I've always said this, I respect everyone's right to believe in what they want to. I just don't have to respect what they actually believe. There is a difference. Personally, I think religion's holding humanity back. The quicker we learn how to ignore the bleedings of superstitious idiots, the better off we will all be. Especially when you get religious idiots saying, "Oh, vaccines are bad. Vaccines are bad," because we've got millions of people dropping dead from all the COVID vaccines out there right now. I mean, just read the news. It's a slaughter. Once again, seems to be the theme of this show is base your opinions on the evidence presented. Key phrase being evidence, not some secondhand bullshit you got from Bob's sister's brother's cousin's uncle who may have heard something. And for all my friends who might be religious, just remember, we are allowed to disagree with each other. We don't have to hate each other because we don't agree on how the universe was created. It's about accepting one another for who we are, and there's nothing wrong with that. Except for drummers, because fuck those guys.
Hey Glenn, was curious to know if you temperature monitor your studio and it's necessary to do so to keep your instruments in top shape. Thanks and fuck you.
Hey Josh, that's a actually really relevant question. I'll say this, it's a very airtight small room and you get a couple bodies in here and it can warm up pretty damn quick. So normally we've got an AC running here in the summer and whatnot. It keeps things mostly under control and it draws a lot of the humidity out of the air. But I mean, we've definitely had days where we get 3 or 4 guys in here, we're trying to keep the guitars in tune and the necks will just, keep swaying in and out because the humidity is so high. Generally, this place is fine with maybe 3 people in here, but any more and the humidity levels do tend to get a little excessive and it makes tracking guitars very difficult. It's another good reason to keep your significant other, in this case, 99 times out of 100, those are girlfriends, leave them the fuck home because they're just going to fuck things up, not only on an emotional level for you, but on a physical level as well when it comes to keeping the guitars in tune. Less people means generally a much more efficient session.
Just shot my girlfriend's perfume. She doesn't look impressed, you closet bassist.
Oh, Owen, I'm so sorry about that. You're fantasizing that you have a girlfriend. I mean, seriously, dude, have you looked at your thumbnail? Take it from one ugly guy to another. Dude, you're never getting a girlfriend. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. You guys got a question about recording. You guys have suggestions for episodes when it comes to tutorials. What do you guys want to see? I want to make those videos for you. Leave a comment below because I love hearing from you. Anyway, until next time, make the best records you possibly can by whatever means necessary. I'll see you next time.